Welcome to Wallace Sandwire. Today we're looking at a statement from Selangor Democratic Action Party Youth. And, well, it's pretty direct.
It really is. It cuts right into that tricky area in Malaysian politics, doesn't it?
Yeah, that line between, strong political views and maybe actions that could be seen as undermining unity. It's always debated.
Fiercely debated.
Okay, so let's unpack this specific case. Selangor Democratic Action Party Youth says United Malay's National Organization Youth Chief Akmal is unrepentant, even after facing court charges.
And they claim he's still making inflammatory statements.
Right. And here's the kicker. They're calling for the main Democratic Action Party and the National Youth Wing to completely sever ties with him.
That's not just criticism. That's a demand for a political break, a really significant move.
It is.
And a core part of their argument, maybe the most striking part, is calling Akmal a proxy for Perikatan Nasional.
Operating inside the unity government.
Exactly. I mean, think about that. It's not just saying he's causing trouble, it's alleging internal sabotage.
Wow.
That carries huge implications, suggesting a real fracture, right at the heart of the governing alliance.
It really questions the loyalty, the stability of the whole thing.
It does. It makes you wonder about the pressures that led to such a public statement. What does it say about how these parties are actually getting along?
And Selangor DAP Youth seems to think Akmal is deliberately trying to confuse things.
How so?
Well, they argue he's trying to link his own legal issues with those incidents involving the inverted national flag.
Ah, okay.
But they point out, look, authorities were already investigating those flag incidents in Penang, in Johor.
So no special treatment or lack of action there?
That's their point. They're saying his comparison is just a way to distract, to muddy the waters about his own situation.
Right, trying to deflect. And digging into the specifics of his charges, Selangor DAP Youth stresses it wasn't just about political opinions.
What then?
They mention his excessive remarks in a Facebook video. They claim he pressured the Attorney General's chambers, interfered with an investigation.
Okay.
Now, without getting into all the legal details, the way they frame it is key. They call it disrupting social order.
A serious accusation.
Very. And they explicitly say his behavior crossed the bottom line for a society based on the rule of law.
So shifting it from just words to actions with real consequences for public order and the justice system.
Exactly. It's not just what he said, but the alleged impact of what he said on institutions, on social cohesion.
So we've got the accusations, the legal side.
Yeah.
But then there's the political angle of hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm. They don't mince words there either.
No, they call him hypocritical, straight up. They highlight how he demands tough penalties for others.
Yet he himself faced charges for actions they see as disrupting social order.
Right. And they emphasize, our judicial system, our enforcement bodies, they follow procedures. There's no need for anyone to confuse things.
It's a demand for consistency. If you demand a certain standard from others,
You should meet it yourself.
and this leads into their claim of double standards. This seems central to their argument.
How do they illustrate that?
Well, they point to his silence on the Terengganu Party Islam Si Malaysia issue with the incorrect flag design,
Okay.
and they contrast that sharply with how relentlessly he pursued that hardware store owner.
The one who'd already fixed the mistake and was cooperating with police.
That's the one. And they allege Akmal gathered people, caused trouble at the scene even after that.
Wow. So the contrast is the evidence for them.
Exactly. They frame it as clear proof of, hypocrisy and selective justice. It raises questions about his motives, his allegiances.
If the public buys that narrative, it could really damage his credibility, couldn't it?
And potentially his party standing within the coalition, yes.
It almost puts the question out there. If this isn't somehow linked to Perikatan Nasional, how else do you explain these apparent contradictions?
It's a direct challenge to his loyalty, his whole approach. And for people listening, these perceived double standards can be really frustrating.
Yeah, trying to figure out what's a genuine concern versus political maneuvering.
Makes you wonder about the real game being played.
And digging into this further, Selangor DAP Youth firmly rejects any idea of, both sides are to blame here.
No middle ground for them on this.
None. They place the blame squarely on Akmal, saying he intentionally stoked racial emotions.
And they position DAP Youth as standing from a, quote, Malaysian perspective, condemning what they call thug politics.
Thug politics. What do they seem to mean by that?
It appears to mean aggressive, confrontational tactics, things designed to intimidate or undermine social order and the rule of law.
So not just strong words, but actions.
Right. By refusing any both sides narrative, they're saying some actions are just unacceptable, especially within a government coalition meant to foster unity.
And they stress this isn't just talk, it's about a party youth chief, who's also a state executive councilor.
Position of significant responsibility.
Personally gathering people, allegedly to cause trouble. They see that as undermining the rule of law, damaging national relations.
And they argue it needs consequences. It can't just be ignored or dismissed as, political drama.
It really underscores a sense of urgency from their side, that these actions are harmful, especially coming from someone in power.
And connecting this back, their stance is that trying to smooth things over, calling these alleged thug actions just a verbal dispute,
would actually encourage more hate politics.
That's their fear. So they're drawing a very clear line on what's acceptable political conduct in Malaysia, especially for government partners.
It's a fundamental challenge, really, to how coalition partners are expected to behave.
It is. They're setting out what they believe is essential for a stable Malaysia and what they won't tolerate from allies.
And the direct result, Selangor DAP Youth repeats. Absolutely no cooperation with groups supporting racism, engaging in thug politics, or trying to disrupt the unity government by working with Parakat and National.
It's drawing a boundary, defining who they'll work with and what's completely off the table. A public declaration of their non-negotiables.
Which really makes you think about the future of these alliances, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It raises big questions. They state they'll back demands from multicultural society to resolutely cut ties with Akmal.
And oppose anything threatening the unity government or social harmony.
So this move tries to redefine political partnership. It says certain behaviors, certain perceived allegiances are just incompatible with the whole point of the unity government.
It's not just a critique anymore, it's trying to set a standard, maybe force a rethink within the coalition itself.
Which, for the unity government, presents a real challenge to its cohesion, its whole narrative of shared purpose.
Yeah, this statement from Selangor Democratic Action Party Youth, it's clearly more than just politics as usual. It's a strong stance on conduct, on responsibility.
It definitely highlights that delicate balance within the unity government, this alliance formed from such different groups.
And the ongoing struggle really for social cohesion in Malaysia.
It tells us that even in a coalition built on compromise, there are lines some parties just won't let others cross.
So thinking ahead, how might these public demands to cut ties, especially from a youth wing, actually reshape things inside the unity government?
That's the key question, isn't it? In a government based on sharing power, what happens when a clash over principles escalates to accusations of internal sabotage?
How far can that unity really stretch before things start to break? And what does that mean for Malaysia's political stability? It gives you a lot to think about. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.